Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. It is Christmas time and I hope you're all feeling nice and festive. I mean, we've tried to make the efforts here, just me and the boys. Whoa, be careful with your Santa hat. That bobble could take an eye out. And if you did that, you'd have to wear an eye patch like that guy. Look at that. He's got his big beady eye on you. That's a great Pliskin shirt, isn't it? It's massively Pliskin, just in your face Pliskin. Right, this wee video could well be irreverent, kind of redundant at the end of the day, and perhaps just completely whatever. It's just a bit of fun. Basically, folks, I came home yesterday after a big long dog walk with Roxy the Husky, which of course ended up in the pub. Of course. So several whiskies and a couple of beers, we arrive home and my daughter is watching Interstellar. Christopher Nolan's 2014 movie Interstellar. Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon and Michael Caine. And it's not. I love Nolan's movies. The Dark Knight trilogy, obviously, Prestige, Dunkirk. Wasn't so fussed on Inception, to be honest. And that one that came, what's the last one he did? Can't remember what it's called now. So there you go. And he's now doing Oppenheimer, which actually looks pretty damn good. Although I kind of was thinking, what? You're making a movie about that? How are you going to make a movie out of that? Really? Really? And make it exciting? Look at the trailer. Looks great. So yeah, I'm on board. And she's watching Interstellar. When that first came out, I watched it and I was not a fan. I think it caught me at the wrong time. Time, of course, being, one of the huge elements of the movie. I won't go into the plot, because you've seen it, I'm sure. But its take on black holes, spiritualism, emotion, and science was not a good combination for me at that time. What are you? What kind of movie you meant to be? There's some excitement here, there's some heartbreak, but I wasn't on board. So in the intervening years, I haven't watched it. But I come in yesterday, and it was the last quarter of the movie, and so you just ditched. Well, Matt Damon's cowardly character has just gone for a docking, no, don't do it. Boom, he's gone. Anne Hathaway's been ditched onto her planet, and McConaughey's going back to Earth with a slingshot through the black hole and going to see his daughter. And I cannot tell a lie. The alcohol probably played an effect. I was hugely, unexpectedly emotional during it. And a great thing, my daughter, who was sitting on the settee, and I was in the armchair. I had to move the armchair forward because there's a big Christmas tree behind it. And so luckily she couldn't see the tears down my face. But she said something. She went, I said, oh, is this, I said, this is the end, isn't it? And she went, it's all about the end. Oh. And the daughter-father interaction, going back to see her one last time because she's aged and she's dying by the time he manages to get back home. He's 123 years, whatever, but he hasn't really changed at all. And she's on a deathbed with all her family around her. And he's just seen her one last time. And he backs out. Oh. It was very emotional. And my voice just went really stupid there, didn't it? But this is the thing, folks. This is the thing my daughter said to me. She went, there's a piece of music in this which has been doing my head in. Because each time it's been on, I've thought of you and your bloody music that you play all the time. And I went, well, it's Hans Zimmer scored it, so I'm bound to have played it a lot. She goes, no, it's a horror movie. And I thought, well, Hans Zimmer and horror. The Ring, the remake of The Ring, it's happened. Did that. There is darker stuff that he's done, and there's horror elements in a lot of the scores that he's done for action movies, and even the Dark Knight trilogy has horror elements to it. So I thought, what could that be then? And she went, no. So we came out here to the sound system out here, and we tried to work it out. And it's funny how we both arrived at the same conclusion. And this is what this video is going to analyse. So I'll be playing the music, the piece from Interstellar, which is in a couple of tracks on the soundtrack for Interstellar. And it's a track from Suspiria. And we might find something else as well, which Hans Zimmer has done before. But he wasn't the originator of it. So let's have a little investigative sort of analysis of the evidence, shall we say, Sherlock Holmesian style. And we were going through all the movies. So you got the two tracks. You found the two tracks which had this motif in, which the word is ecclesiastical. But you're hearing a bit now. This is not the right track. But in Interstellar, he uses a great big church organ, and it adds a depth, a spatial, ethereal quality, which is angelic, beatific, magisterial, reflecting space, the cosmos, life, eternity, faith. It's all there. It's clever. It's cleverly done. But as a piece of music, she found it in these two tracks, and she goes, this sounds like something of yours. You play it all the time. I was going, what the hell? So we went down through all of the music that's on this, and as we got down to the S's, and there was friggin' hundreds of S movies in there and soundtracks, both of us at the same time went Suspiria. Okay, well, you guys be the judge of this. I'm going to play the pieces of music a lot, and then something else as well, which I think could actually be the inspiration for it in the first place. I don't know, because I've been playing this a lot in the last few hours, because part of this is, she told me this last night, and to my drunken ears and my emotional, spiritual side, I went, God, hun, you've nailed it. That's my girl. You're brilliant. That's exactly right. But the cold light of day, stone cold sober, that's not entirely true. Oh, this fucking thing. It's not entirely true, folks, because I've got this. So, bottoms up, as you say. Cheers, y'all. But okay, so let's see. Let's go on to it. Now, it's in two tracks, as I say, and I've done a little playlist of these tracks. We have, well, it's kind of the wrong way around. The first track on the playlist is a track called No Time for Caution from Interstellar. Excuse me. Now, the thing is, the motif comes in about just after 2 minutes in. Although, having said that, it's actually there right now, but it'll come on. It's a 7-note motif. You're hearing it now, but I want the more resonant version, the more emphatic version. What's that? Ding, 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 ding. Okay. It was more back towards the 2-minute mark, which I did write that down, you know. Okay, let's just listen. No, it's 2 blocks of 7 notes. Ding, 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 ding. And then it segues into, it bridges to another section. Okay, let's play it in the other track, which is called Coward, which is for Matt Damon's character, and this should appear around about the 3:33 mark. We can hear it already, and that ticking motif, Hans Zimmer does that in a lot of movies, a lot of movie scores. That's the motif. It's chiming. It's almost denoting time itself. Hans Zimmer does a lot of tick-tock stuff in movies. He does it in Dunkirk massively. He does it in this for one particular sequence where they get to a planet where every hour they spend on that planet, hang on, is it every hour, every minute they spend on that planet, transmutes to 7 years to someone back on Earth. So they've got to be there quickly, you know, and one poor guy does get very old in that process very quickly. But that's the theme. Right. Do we hear that again somewhere else in here? Now it becomes an earworm, folks, and you're going to get this. Sadly, you're going to get this roaring round inside your cranium. But there's worse things to have, you know, spiriting away there between your ears. That church organ really adds a celestial, ecclesiastical voice to this, which is what really gets to you and what makes it so important. People who dissent upon Hans Zimmer, of which I have done in the past, but his practices is what I don't like. Drafting in the world's best percussion artists, the world's best string artists, to do their thing and jam, but he records it. But the live aspect is really powerful. Getting all the audience at Wembley Stadium to chant, you know, for Bane, for the Dark Knight Rises, and but then he takes it in, remixes it, samples it. And the version you get in the soundtrack is not the raw version. What was the point of getting there in the first? They could have just sent you they could have just streamed it from them, you know, sent you a file. Didn't have to be there. So, and then he has so many clones who work for him and then go out and do their stuff and compose for other movies. But really, it's the Zimmer sound. But here's the clincher. I do love the vast majority of Zimmer's music because it's very simplistic, it's very powerful, it's metronomic or it's a soundscape, but either way, however he does it and puts it out there, gets in here. And there's often a slow build, often with time, a tick-tock metronomic approach to it, which will gradually build up to the huge moment. In some cases, it could be a wham, Hans Zimmer, wham. But in other cases, it's more subdued, it's quieter. It lies underneath the sequence playing. But the main theme is actually somehow or other, subconsciously, weaving its way into your head, so that when it actually does make its grand appearance, it's even more emphatic. It is a style, not everyone likes it, I totally concede. But when it works, my God, it works so damn well. And it works really well with this. So again, what I'm going to do, there's the tick-tock there. But it's this 7-note element. You're going to hear it properly in a few more seconds. See. You got that now. You got that. Let's do it again. Okay, right. When we hit upon Suspiria, Dario Argento's classic, seminal 1976 occult slasher giallo movie, one of my all-time favourites. I selected my wife out of all the other potentials because she looked at the time an absolute dead ringer for Jessica Harper, who plays the American heroine in Argento's movie, Susie Banyan. And because I loved her and felt so in love with her when I watched that movie, even as a young kid when I first watched it, that when I saw my wife, I was like, my future wife, I was like, she's from Suspiria. I must protect her from the witches. Claudio Simonetti and the prog rock group Goblin, who've scored many other movies and a few other Argento movies, came up with the soundtrack to Suspiria. Right, you've just heard that, and you're going to hear it again. Here's the opening theme. It's 7 notes again, with a bridge to another 7 notes. They aren't the same notes, but the motif is very, very similar to what you've just been hearing. More gentle, perhaps. There's Simonetti himself, kind of like labouring the point for me. Here's the note. La 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 la. Zimmer's score for Interstellar seems to incorporate this. Now, I don't expect you to believe me off the bat, just like that. So, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to it. Look, if nothing else, it gives us a chance to talk about his movies. So it's after 2 minutes for this bit. Let's get up here. Sorry about the jumping. It's just I can't quite time mark these things. Church organ. Suspiria, it's like subdued. It's like, glockenspiel and chimes. You're probably not getting that at all at the moment. You will. You will. Let's go on to the other track again. And it was... Where was it? 333. Let's go back again. Interstellar. Don't tell me you haven't got that. It's working, folks, it's working. Oh! It's Castlemaine 4X. It's a blast from the past for those of us in the UK. You didn't know you could still get that, did you? Not sure you can actually in this country, but if you've got a friend in Australia like Scrowy, he sends it to you. Cheers, y'all. Now you're getting that. So we'll go again. Where is it? 333. That's more grandiose, I'll give you that. It's the same motif, folks. It's the same motif. Suspiria again. Yeah, they play. They're different notes, but the melody is the same. The structure is the same. The haunting element is exactly the same. And of course, in the case of Suspiria, Simonetti and Goblin, they've basically inverted a lullaby, a children's bedtime lullaby, almost like a nursery rhyme, and they've drenched it in their own macabre musical sensibilities and created something totally beautiful, infectious, haunting, yet massively infernal. Zimmer makes it bigger. He opens up the clouds of, the covens, cauldrons, till it exposes the cosmos And also, is there a deity, spiritualism, existentialism, the greater powers beyond? It's similar in theme from a narrative structure as well. No time for caution, and that's the 2-minute one, which I keep getting wrong. Fucking hell. Come on now. It is there. She's not wrong. My daughter went, you know, oh, you're going to make a video out of this? And I went, yeah, because it's something to talk about. It's interesting. She said, I'm going to look like an idiot. I said, don't you worry about that. He said, I'm the one who's going to look like a complete idiot doing this. Because you're all going like, I can't hear any similarity at all. I can't hear any similarity at all. You're hearing nothing but similarity right now. Now, there's something else I noticed as well, because throughout last night when we look at this, trying to work out what the similarity was, which other score had this element in, and I was thinking, no, it's Hans Zimmer. He's done this before as well. Now, we've addressed the fact that he does metronomic stuff, he does droning, industrial effects, heavy percussion, and the boom, but he does. A lot of the films he works on use time as a reference. No, music is mostly, there's timing issues. There's rhythm, you know, there's a beat. It's time, and time again. But he's actually done TikToks in many soundtracks. It's in Gladiator, it's in all the Dark Knight movies, it's in Dunkirk, obviously. It's in many Hans Zimmer scores. But here's one for you. Right? Cast your minds back to the first Sherlock Holmes movie. Yes, Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. Wonderful movie. Love it. Did a big video on this actually, and on the score itself. And of course, it got blocked. Which this video might get blocked as well. Who knows? But then it got released, so it's out there. Let me put the link to it as well. This is a huge 18-minute long track, 18 minutes and 19 seconds. It's called Psychological Recovery, and it is all the big sort of brash action-packed finale trying to save, you know, governments, Westminster and Big Ben from bombs and gas and, oh god, all sorts of stuff going off. Big fight. But what Zimmer does here, Zimmer's score for Sherlock Holmes is very gypsy infused. Lots of fiddles and accordions and weird percussive stuff, but it's got a very quasi-Eastern European feel to it, which doesn't make a lot of sense, I suppose, but it actually works really well. And there's a couple of assassins, you know, who are like clearly, you know, of gypsy origin, and so he was doing that for the big guy who gets hit with hammers and all sorts and still keeps coming on. But let's get to this now. Around about the 8-minute mark, I think. We're going to get to... I'm going to take that back a bit, because I'm going to talk. We get to Hans Zimmer using a motif, which is actually the Westminster Chimes, the famous Westminster Chimes. And he brings it into an action set piece. But if you listen to the theme itself and the Westminster Chimes, it is very similar to what we've just been listening to in both Suspiria and Interstellar. So I don't know. This came first. Westminster Chimes came first. You know. Right. It's gonna kick in a second. The action will kick in, and then you'll get this little lovely motif woven into it. Coming. the Westminster chimes. Ding, 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 ding. Now, that's not 7 notes. They're chimes, and it's more than 7. It's more than 7 notes. But listen to that. And then go into the iambic pentameter, if you want to use that phrase for it, because it's to do with like rhyming and the flow of language and of musicality. It is the same. And then you get that, obviously. So, you've got the Westminster chimes, you've got Suspiria. Let's go back onto... I'm gonna do it again. God, I wish I could timestamp these motherfuckers. Well, you're getting it there before the actual motif kicks in. You can hear it. It's just further back, and you've got that ticking motif. It's going to come in now. Don't tell me you can't hear this. I said, don't tell me you can't hear. I'm not listening to you. I can't hear a word you're saying. I can still hear this though. And this is the wonderful thing, you know. The film Interstellar is about using black holes and to save the Earth and time travel. Go and find other planets. There's deception there as well, of course. Naughty Michael Caine, naughty Matt Damon, and but it's a wonderful movie, which I did not. And here's the irony: I did not give it the amount of time it deserved at the time when it came out. Now, having sat through the last quarter with my daughter, the really emotional section with her, and her saying, you know, it's all about the end. Oof. I will have to revisit it properly because I think it blew it away, and I it's about time. I should sit down and watch it again, but it's about time, and this is something which I find quite fascinating. We're all time travelers. You, me, we're all traveling in time. Not just going forwards, but we watch videos, we watch movies back. What better way of reliving the past, reliving former emotions than sitting down and watching a movie that you loved when you were a child and getting all the same emotions again? You're going back in time, you're revisiting. I remember when VCRs first came out, in a video review and video world, when they do like reviews of the actual hardware, the machines. Ooh, this one's a front loader, wow! And it's got colour, picture search, woo! And colour freeze frame. They'd always be like about the time shifting. What was time shifting back in those days? You'd record a programme broadcast on terrestrial TV. The only way you'd see that programme again would be on a rerun. Because you've recorded it, you can watch it whenever you want. You are time shifting. You're watching something from the past when you choose to watch it. Church organ. And that's what we're doing right now. So in the future you can look at this video and all this crowd are all wearing Christmassy gear. Because it is Christmas. The run up to Christmas 2022. Just to see, I can't timestamp the fucking music, but I can timestamp an element of the video. But we're all doing it, we're all time travelling in some quasi weird abstract sort of way. We're all messing around with the concept of time. So let's go back into this again. You can hear Zimmer's woven that the 7-note motif into all of this. It's been playing around. There's a glistening sort of waterlogged version of it there, but it is the same theme again. clever. Let's go onto this version again. This is No Time for Caution. The two tracks it's in, No Time for Caution and Coward on Interstellar. This is after 2 minutes. Although it is there. My daughter wrote down the times, and this is like 1 minute and 10 seconds, and it's playing it there. Can't trust her. And she's the inspiration for this video as well. It kicks in properly somewhere around about here. Again, there's a lullaby sensibility to that motif, which is gorgeous. And that's why it becomes infectious. A lullaby plays into your subconscious as you're a kid, you're drifting off. Your mum was singing this little lullaby to you or reading a nursery rhyme to you. And it gets into you. That's why they become almost in our DNA to be seduced and subdued and, I don't know, just calmed down by this lovely lilting lullaby. But it sounds, there's a sense of jeopardy, dread, and not so much dread, I suppose, with Interstellar, but there's jeopardy and your heart's kind of in your mouth. It isn't so comforting. It's desperation. And yet with Suspiria takes it back to its lullaby original sort of cadence. The way it lilts and moves. It's beautiful. But in their hands, it's also, I say their hands, I don't mean Hans Zimmer, but in Goblin's hands, it becomes darker and like more, I don't really want to shut, Mum, no, don't sing this to me again. I don't want to shut my eyes. I love the way he does that. It's so operatic and almost pantomime. I'm just going to go la 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 la, but it's ghastly and it works. And the vocals here. Folks, I have played these tracks a few times. Let's do Suspiria again. Let's just see if we can make them bleed in. I'll tell you what we do. Try and make them bleed into one another. So we need... God. Interstellar. More subdued. Come on. That's working, isn't it? That's working. It's working for me. I think it's great. Let's end on something different. I was going to click on James Bond then. I can't really close out with doom 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 doom. Although Hans Zimmer did do James Bond, No Time to Die. No, I think. Okay. Perhaps not the best thing to end it on really, but the end of the score for Interstellar has some of the cast members reading out, well, you'll hear, with Zimmer's haunting final epitaph playing behind it. But here we go. Do not go gentle into that good night.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light.
The wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning. They do not go gentle into that good night.
Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night.
Grave men near death, who see with blinding sight. Blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
It's all about the end. And my daughter said that. That's a powerful epitaph, that. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Fight time, if you can. And we're all doing it, as I said before, in our own little way. But basically, live every second of every moment, of every hour, of every day, like it's your last. That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. This is the arse end of the worst year I've ever had in my life. And Christmas is only a few days' time. But it's written off. We've written it off already. For us, there's been an absolute unparalleled disaster. And then I come home in a happy, drunken mode to find my daughter watching one of the most distressing, haunting and tragic movies ever made. And it's then consumed me. So, folks, in the meantime, in this ever, I don't know, celestial pondering in between time, please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. Cheers, y'all. And I'm going to see you all later in time, or back in time, but sometime. Laters. And rage, rage against the dying of the light. Do not go gently into that good night.